Well, like yesterday, today we're going to stay in 1 Kings chapter 17. If you missed yesterday, Elijah comes and he asks a widow at Zarephath to give him from the very end of her food, the end of her meal and oil, to make him a cake first. She steps out in faith and does. Elijah tells her the meal's never going to run out, the grain, the meal, and the oil, and that's going to keep going. They've got food for all their household. Everything's looking great. What could possibly go wrong? Well, the worst possible thing goes wrong. If you look in verses 17 through the end of the chapter, it says, after this, the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, became ill. His illness was so severe that there was no breath left in him, which takes us to our verse of the day, verse 18. She then said to Elijah, what have you against me, O man of God? You have come to me to bring my sin to remembrance and to cause the death of my son. Let me just say right here, so often when something goes wrong in life, our response, the human response, can often be, God's punishing me for something I did wrong. That's clearly the case here for the widow. She thinks that God is taking the life of her son because of something she did wrong. I don't think that's the way God operates, and we're going to hear from Ezekiel later on, and as you move through the Bible, that's not how God does things anymore. But that's what she's afraid of. And Elisha, though, said to her, give me your son, took him, carried him to the upper room where he was staying, laid him out on his own bed. Elijah prays to God, and stretches himself upon the child 3 times and cries to the Lord, O Lord my God, let this child's life come into him again. And we're told, and I just want to say as an aside, I think it's really interesting that Elijah stretched himself upon the child. It makes you wonder, right, from a physical standpoint, did the warmth of Elijah's body help? Was he giving him CPR or mouth to mouth, right? He's lying on top of the kid. But no matter how it happens, Elijah speaks the prayer, the Lord hears the voice of Elijah, and the life of the child came into him again, and he revived. Well, this is not the first time, the last time in the Bible that we're going to hear about a widow's son being revived, right? Jesus is going to do the exact same thing. He's going to help a widow's son in the Gospel of Luke, who's literally being carried out for his burial. Jesus is going to do the same thing. Some of you know the story of the head of the synagogue, whose little daughter passes away. And there are already professional mourners there. And Jesus comes in, brings her back to life. We'll talk more about some of these stories this week. Every miracle begins with a problem. Don't be discouraged if you have one. Be open to God and pray to God for help.